everyone, it's Nicole for Simon Says Stamp, and welcome to the June 2024 edition of Making the Cut. Making the Cut is my monthly series here on Simon Says Stamp, where we talk about my favorite die cutting. Today we're going to do some floral arranging with beautiful dies from Simon Says Stamp. We're also going to use this feather spiral embossing folder to create some interest for our background and use the simple Wedding Wishes sentiment stamp set for our greetings. I will be using the Lush Leaves dies, the flower from the Etched Layer Daisy stem. We're also going to use some olive leaves, which I kind of went by real quick there. The arched leaf and flower blooms, we're only going to use the flowers from this, and then the layered dandy flower. So kind of an assortment of different leaves and florals from Simon Says Stamp. Starting with a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch background of smooth black cardstock, we are going to remove our cutting plates from our die cutting machine. I'm using a Spellbinders Platinum machine today, and I am going to leave about an inch. I didn't really measure it, but I'm going to shift my cardstock down in my embossing folder, leaving a strip of smooth cardstock to stamp our greeting. So I've lined it up in the spiral feather embossing folder, but I've left it hanging down kind of between 3/4 and an inch at that bottom. Then I'm going to place it on my platform, and I like to use the backing from the packaging as my shim, and I'm going to roll this through my die cutting machine to emboss the beautiful spiral feather design. Now this is going to be very subtle, but it does add a lovely bit of interest to the background of our design today. And this could be achieved with any kind of embossing folder that you have in your stash that has maybe like a repeating pattern or something nice and subtle. That looks beautiful. So I'm going to place that in my MISTI now, and I'm going to use a powder tool on that bottom section where I've lined up 2 sentiments from the Simple Wedding Wishes. We're going to stamp those with some embossing ink from Simon Says Stamp and heat embossed with antique gold embossing powder. I love the look of this, and by leaving that smooth strip somewhere, either at the top or the bottom or wherever on your card, we don't have to cut another piece of paper to attach to our card, and it just kind of ties in beautifully to the design. Now I chose to emboss in antique gold today because I am going to add some gold embellishment in a couple of places on my card, as well as some yellow gemstones, and I thought it would look really pretty. And then I am using lots of colorful, bright die cut florals and leaves to build my floral design. I did go ahead and buff away any of that powder sitting on top of our embossed area with a nice dry rag, and we are ready to start building our florals. I did go ahead and die cut everything off camera. That saves us a lot of time. You can see I have just another background here where I was testing out my theory on it, if it was going to look good on the black cardstock or not. I like to lay things out before I ever commit. And we are going to start by building our florals. This is one of the layered dandy flowers, and it is die cut from some red, which is Schoolhouse red, and white, as well as gold mirror cardstock. These green Lush leaves were die cut from Hero Arts Pesto cardstock, and we're going to kind of use those as our base. If you can see here, I've only put glue along the stem, and they are going to serve as the base for our flower arranging. I'm going to put some foam right underneath the center of my flower, my red flower, and then we're going to layer on the 2 extra pieces. I like to start with my base leaves when flower arranging and then layer on the largest flower and build out from there. We can always tuck our smaller florals and greenery around as we go. Now this is the etched layered daisy stem, and I just opted not to use the stem today. There is not a separate piece for the center of my daisy, which I kind of made it more a sunflower looking flower, but I simply die cut the 2 base layers from my yellow cardstock, and then I die cut the flower again from brown, and I just cut it out with scissors to layer it on the top for that layering piece. Really easy to do. I've got some of these awesome little bright pink flowers. This is from the Arched Leaf and Flower Blooms, and it has 2 different sizes of these layering flowers. Before I attach that, I did decide to go in with my olive leaves, and this is another leaf design. I felt like we needed a lot of greenery. When I do floral design on my cards like this, I love lots of greenery to fill in all of those little nooks and crannies. And so I die cut those from some eucalyptus cardstock from Concord and 9th to just kind of tuck in here and there. It does have the greenish tint to it, but it's almost that bluish green tint, I guess I want to say, which is perfect to pull in that color into our floral arranging. I have 3 of those sprigs, 2 of the small and 1 of the large, and we're going to tuck those in before we commit to adding any of the rest of our flowers. So now we have our bright pink flowers, which this is some Hero Arts Azalea cardstock, and we're going to just start tucking these in. This is the smaller of the 2 layered dandy flowers. So that first large flower that we die cut. Now we have the smaller version. And I realized I must have misplaced my flower center for the large flower because I accidentally put the small flower center on the large. So I'm going to peel that off. And I looked everywhere. This is me looking for it. And I don't know where it went. So I'm going to die cut another one here in a minute and we'll fix it. These little beautiful purple flowers are PLUM cardstock from Hero Arts. And we're going to tuck these in here and there as well. All of my cardstock color choices today were picked specifically because I thought they looked beautiful together and against that black cardstock background. I didn't glue down the leaves as I was flower arranging, specifically so that I could tuck some of the florals into the design very easily. I don't want them all sitting on top of the leaves. I want them to look very natural as they're tucked inside. And you could do this with any color combination that you love. Match it to the theme or occasion. You could easily switch out the sentiment at the bottom of this card for sympathy, birthday, friendship, anniversary, whatever occasion you need a card for. There is the correct center. We're going to just fix that a little bit. And that ties into the gold of our gold embossed sentiment at the bottom. Now that we have our beautiful card all put together, wasn't that fast and easy? We're going to take some foundry wax and we're going to put it in I like to put it in a spatter box. I use a plastic box. I am going to pick it up with a small paintbrush and I am going to just tap that, spatter it all over the background, and then we're going to go ahead and heat set this. You need to heat set it so that it doesn't wipe off or smear. And we're going to heat it up and we're going to end up with these beautiful gold gilded spatters all over our design, which really just ties it all together and completes the card beautifully. I want to make sure that I am getting all of it because I used a pretty heavy hand with this. And you can really see the beautiful spiral feather embossing in the background as well. And then we're going to take some rainbow gem stickers from the Rainbow Splash collection. And I chose to use all of the yellow, kind of going with that gold theme again, just tying into our gold spatter, our gold flower centers, and our gold embossing. And we're going to place this in the center of all of our small flowers. And then we'll place a few around our card as well. And I'm using all of the small ones. I like to use that nice sharp tip of the pick and place tool to place those where I want them to go. We'll put a little glossy accents on the center of our sunflower. And we're going to let that dry, and what will happen is we will have a beautiful glossy flower center when that is completely dry. So here are those extra little gem stickers. Then we will simply take this panel, glue it to a white top fold card base, and just like that, we instantly have a stunning and beautiful floral arrangement card. You can do this with any of your favorite florals and greenery from Simon Says Stamp, and it creates a beautiful design every time. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for this floral design card for the June 2024 edition of Making the Cut. The supplies I used are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube for your convenience. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Hi there, I'm Heidi, Simon's mama and founder at simonsaysstamp.com. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you like what you just saw, be sure to press the thumbs up and subscribe to see more great content.